to the death. This is my shit. You talked to me and said Queens, and the moment I heard Queens, I said, okay, damn. All right, there's certain people I couldn't leave out, right? There's just people that listen. They sold more records. They were more famous, but three people I can't leave out. That's Nas, G-Rap, and LL. LL, of course, changed everything. Era, Jumper, jumped too many eras. Nas too, and G-Rap was a founder and a pillar, and to me, still top 5 and a person who changed the game of lyricism multisyllabically. I think sometimes Percy P doesn't get the same credit because these two people were the ones who were paying their dues in the mid to late 80s. But yeah, even though a lot of times people forget that Schoolie D from Philly was the one who originally came up with gangster rap, with Gangsta Boogie. It was G-Rap who then really incorporated the mafioso stuff, and that's where we really get the evolution of it here. So I mean, with that, there's no trap, there's no nothing else. I mean, that's if you cut that branch, there's everything else. That's just my take on it. What branch can't you cut off to get the tree that we have now, or something in a way? There's people you could cut off, and it's like, all right, man, they're gonna lose influence. But if you cut the branch of Nas, you lose so much. If you cut the branch of LL, you lose so much. If you cut the branch of G-Rap, you lose half, right? That's just me. But God bless y'all, and I really hope that, may the odds be ever in your favor when y'all arguing about this.
Yo, you don't gotta go nowhere. Hold on a second. Glasses, what you think about that?
I appreciate he named LL Cool J first. That's just the greatest thing that has happened on Clubhouse, cuz, since I've been on here.
Well, I gotta totally respect my elders. I'm from Harlem, man.
Bro, I swear.
I remember seeing LL just in the street as a little kid in front of the Apollo. You know what I mean? Just taking pictures with people. Like, I mean, Glasses, we come from an era where people couldn't download hip hop. You know what I mean? And I just was fortunate to live in a very big city where I got to see these people and, see them be like, oh man, here's a house party, and here's KRS-One in front of the projects on a riser just rapping, and you know what I mean, that type of stuff. So when I see that and I see the foundational aspects of it, that's just where I would say, not that I wouldn't say there are people who aren't going to be more famous, right, or have sold more records, but in terms of saying that if you take that branch off the tree, just go back to that, you don't have much left. That's it.
And before we even, because I know this is finna go into some crazy shit, right? But before we even go into this crazy shit, I was having a conversation with Big Chuck, and I was telling him the three fathers of the modern MC, right? The three fathers, right, of the modern MC, right? And it's not to knock nobody else, because I still think some of these niggas is cut in with some of these niggas, right? So you have LL Cool J, you have Ra, and you have Kane, right? Those are the fathers of the modern MC. And then a nigga like a G-Rap and a Ra is how you get a Nas. Feel me? A nigga like LL and Special Ed is how you get Snoop. Milk and Kane is how you get Jay. You feel me? It's all kind of other influential MCs, but I really feel like I'm comfortable saying those three guys are they're the father of the modern MC. You know what I'm saying?
What up, Tracy Lee? What up, Fredro?
What's happening?
Peace, hip hop.
Yeah. Yo,
Immortal, I'm about to say something. You don't think an argument could be made for Nicki in the top 3?
Yeah, you could make an argument for anything. I mean, people can say whatever they want. I mean, you talking about people out here who want to make you could want to make an argument for anything. Look, there's people you could honestly say had such a big impact to your life personally, or broke the mold. You know what I mean? Like when I said top 3, like it definitely does hurt to not include a legendary person like Roxanne Shante or somebody else. But if you, like I said before, when you're talking about the branches, so sure, there's an argument that could be made for a lot of different people. Like, for example, one of my probably favorite group, the two favorite groups that I had, not no disrespect to MOP, but was always Mobb Deep and EPMD, and that's Queens all day. Like I take that music over a lot of shit, most of the stuff that LL ever did, but that still can't take away my personal choice or my personal taste can't influence what I would ask, what I was asked as the top 3 greatest of all time in terms of foundational. So when you ask me that, that's why I have to say foundational, and foundational that's LL. You know what I mean? That's, you know, like I said, and you can't leave G-Rap out of that. That's why I put him.
Well, Glasses says that you can't have the greatness if you don't have the commercial impact.
I mean, sure, you can. That's what I'm saying. These people had a commercial impact in their particular time, or influenced the commercial impact of other people. And I would say in G-Rap's case, even more so. And that answers your question from what I had said earlier about how he, and obviously, you know, when we talk about gangster rap, people forget, and I'll say it again, it was Schoolie D who was the first one to come out with that. But then, of course, G-Rap was the one that took it and molded it into something that people just hadn't seen before. And for me, as a Harlem dude, you know what I mean, to go out to Queens and see that and be like, oh wow, so they taking this to another level. And he was the first person I seen in the video kill mobsters. Everybody else was trying to be a mobster. He had a song called On the Run, and he blew the dude's face off at the end, and people wasn't seeing that. You know, I mean, it was something that influenced an entire different generation, and that's where, like I said, where you get gangster rap and trap and a lot of other stuff from. Not necessarily that they invented that lyrical style, but the idea to put all of that into it. And of course, like I said, the multi-syllabic stuff. But like, of course, every single person I mentioned had some kind of commercial success. So that's, you know, that, like I said, it could be debated.
And there's nothing wrong with somebody saying, because G-Rap had commercial success, but his impact was greater. So hold up, Van. The man named LL first, so we already on the right track. Don't fuck that up, dog.
I know. LL personally is the single most influential cat in this game that we call rap. You know what I'm saying? The single most. I couldn't agree with you more, Immortal. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are 3 that I had. When you start talking about Queens, New York, those 3 cover all bases. They cover everything. LL, Nas, and G-Rap. They cover it all. I'm interested to see what Fredro gonna say, being as though he is from Queens, you know what I'm saying? But to me, I don't think you can name any like greatest rappers. That's what we're talking about. Greatest rappers. Those 3 cover it all.
And that's a good point, because like I also want to say this too, Bishop. Like, greatest rappers make great rap songs. Like, I don't want to hear nobody talk about this nigga rhyme. Great rappers make great rap songs. Like, I want to make sure we focus on great rappers making great rap songs.
So let's define the difference between a rapper making a great song and a rapper just making a like a dope song or whatever. Like, what's like? Give me an example of one and the other.
I Need Love is a great rap song. Bad is a great rap song.
Now, what's the opposite of that? Now, where's like, is it you talking about like somebody that just raps good as opposed to somebody who makes a great rap song?
Yeah, like Mobb Deep, feel me? Shook Ones is a great rap song. Like, it could be songs that people prefer and songs that you like, and songs like Immortal saying, because like it could be songs you like, but it's another thing when you have songs that impact the complete culture, and not just there, but it shake the whole world. To Tracy's point, because it's like LL is hip hop's first mega star, period. Like,
yep.
Like, the reason anybody out here probably would know what a real B-boy is, you know, early on would be because of LL. Like, he's the first one you heard say B, son, kid, the whole culture, you know, but just really putting it on like a real Queens nigga, you feel me? Like, extra, you know what I mean? Where you like, God damn, you know what I mean? And that's why he influenced the B-boys you do see in LA that's, you know, growing up and shit, that's older now, that's all the motherfuckers is LL's son. I always say Snoop is a product of LL and Special Ed, because LL flow was just so amazing at that time. I mean, I don't think it's really credited correctly, but the way he used to just rhyme and flow, dog, it was always like everything came out like so cold and smooth. And I just don't think he's recognized that way. But so I'm glad Cuz said LL first. For sure, LL is the greatest MC out of Queens. I'm glad that's established with at least me and Immortal Technique.
I'm from Queens, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's kind of biased with me. So I'm gonna just wait a little bit longer and see what everybody else.
No, Fredro, no. We ain't gonna let you off the hook like that, son. No.
All right.
No.
All right. LL is definitely number one. Definitely.
Man, thank you, God.
He's definitely number one because when you say rappers from Queens, LL put on for Queens with Farmers Boulevard. Like, he made Queens worldwide before anybody except Run. But Run and LL both rep that shit, but Run was with a group. So LL to me is more like he held it down because he was a solo artist. So he put the world on Queens first. So he got to be number one when it comes to illest rapper from Queens because he's still relevant, still got longevity in the game, still doing things business-wise, impacting the game on television, Shade 45, all of that shit. So it's like LL's number one. Number two got to be Nas. Nas is just like, Nas is just I think Nas is the best rapper of all times.
Word? Like,
Not
yeah.
the rapper, but the best rapper.
Like technically,
because he's from Queens, I can relate to him so much. It's like we kind of live in the same universe, even though Queens, I'm gonna break it down. Queensbridge is close to Iraq, which is left rack. You know what I'm saying? They was close to Manhattan. You know what I'm saying? That's like Queens, real close to Manhattan. Kind of like if you were Chicago, it's kind of like Cabrini Green before they tore it down. It was close to the city. Like, so if you're from Queensbridge and left rack, you close to Manhattan. So that was Queens, but we from Southside Queens. Southside Queens is where Lost Boys, Fifth, Onyx, we all from the same area. You know what I'm saying? That's Southside Queens. And then you got Hollis, Springfield, that's LL. You know what I'm saying? Run DMC, Ja Rule and them niggas, Tribe Called Quest, they all from that area. You know what I'm saying? So Queens is kind of broken down in sections. You know what I'm saying? So, but Nas is number two. Number three got to be Prodigy.
Dang.
All right, let's talk about it. Yo, Glasses, what do you think about Fredro's top three?
That shit that's a Queens nigga, man. You can't
argue that.
I mean, and he's slick. He slid P in that motherfucking spot.
Word, that was
one of them
interesting.
dudes who got some shit where you just kind of just don't trip, even though it's a group, because he do got some cold solo shit. That's nice. I think it's obvious that LL and Nas, and I'm glad that the room is, maybe it's because, like, you know, these are all the people I grew up listening to, because they all know LL is the guy. I hate to not watch LL get the props, so it's dope to hear.
Facts.
So it's ill, you feel me? Like, Nas would have to be number two. The number three spot is probably going to be All the Differences, because it's a couple people for that spot too. He right.
But it would definitely be, you know, fifth would probably be in the number third slot. But I think Prodigy, as far as a lyricist and far as the impact on hip hop, I think it was that he earns that third spot for me. You know what I'm saying? Because Prodigy, come on, son, that nigga, he was crazy. And the nigga, to be one of the illest, you gotta go through the drama in hip hop. You gotta have events. But like you mentioned G-Rap. G-Rap definitely one of the illest niggas from Queens. But G-Rap didn't have no battles. He didn't bring that. He never brought the events to hip hop that would make you, you know what I'm saying, thorough in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like G-Rap, nobody wanted to battle the nigga. You know what I'm saying? He was too ill for niggas. But I would have liked to have seen some G-Rap friction in the game. You know what I'm saying? To make it an event. Prodigy went through that with a couple of niggas. You know what I'm saying? So Prodigy gets that third slot.
Tracy, did you say your top 3 already? I know you said Ella. I think you said Ella when you got there.
Yeah, I agree with Immortal. I agree with Immortal. I said
LL,
Nas, and G-Rap. LL, Nas, and G-Rap.
Van,
and for the very reasons that Immortal said, like just a skill level, like you said, Fredro, nobody wanted that smoke with G-Rap at all. I
mean, I'll put it this way: I can't be mad at that. I mean, that P was the homie. I can't be mad at somebody putting him up there, especially from Queens and being a person who was impactful and really did have the backbone of the entire beef, like just circuit. And I remember I met Prodigy when I was a little kid. Actually, there was free tickets being given away on the radio. God rest his soul. And I went to a club called Tramps in New York, and we was all up in there. And I remember I got to the door, and they let me in because I had won the free tickets on the radio, but I was like 17. I wasn't supposed to be in there, so they took me off the line. This giant human being, he got to be like 7 feet tall, 400 pounds, and he took me on a line with 2 people on it, and it was a really, really beautiful lady, and it was Prodigy. And I just said what's up to him, and I met him. That was the first time when I was a little kid, and then obviously became really good friends with him later on, and good brother, man. So I can't debate that. And also, you know, as a student of hip hop, I mean, his impact on the game was crazy for that time. So if we're saying Queens, his name is synonymous with Queens. You know what I mean? The idea of Mobb Deep is synonymous with Queens. I think the reason that I put, for example, G-Rap is because I see him as the predecessor for a lot of that, even though they didn't have the same rhyme style, so to speak. But I think the argument could be made, brother, and that's why we all here, because everybody has their own personal view of that. And you know, I can't do anything but respect the motherfucker from Queens who has that opinion. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
More than entitled to it. And if we only off by one person, then that's the beautiful part about this. I want to hear somebody who has a totally different, or somebody who's gonna tell me something crazy. I mean, shit. That's what I want to hear.
I got a couple messages. They're pulling up in a second. I'll even double down on that. Being from Toronto, the east side of Toronto, Scarborough, I can attest to the fact that when Mob dropped, and when, you know, from my neighborhood and from my block, I know how much of an impact Prodigy himself was. Like just him alone, like even like obviously the group, but like just him lyrically, he spoke to my whole neighborhood, and it was day in, day out. You know, my whole neighborhood was just constantly bumping P. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, as far as impact goes, like just on a personal level, I know what that was like from P. You know what I'm saying? So I agree wholeheartedly with everybody. But Glasses, you don't got P in your top. Did you? Oh, wait, did you even say your top 3?
I even said it yet, but I couldn't do P. So in California, it's a little different. Feel me? Yeah. If I did say the 3rd slot, it would have to go to Mobb Deep. If it was a solo act, I'd be pulling teeth between 50 and Ja. And I know nobody gonna really fuck with Ja, but Ja was big.
Ja had
man.
records, man. I'm not
listen. Ja had records.
God.
That's your
nigga, you already know.
So wait, one of Ja or 50 is in your 3rd slot?
It would have to be, dog, because like if I did I would have to do my. Now if we could go a whole group, feel me, that might change the dynamics of things. So the 3rd could be Mob as a group, not P solo. Mob as a group, but if it's gonna go to a solo act, it would have to be between 50 and Ja. And the thing is, don't get me wrong, when 50 was fire, that shit was burning. But Ja had a run where it almost felt like it was never gonna be over.
This is true. Let's talk about it. Van, what you think about that? Ja Rule and Glasses 3rd spot?
It's cool. My list. It's cool. My list is Nas, LL, Nicki.
Ooh.
I'm in a room with a bunch of misogynists.
Oh, come on. Yeah.
Your third slot is Nicki Minaj.
Just over 50. 50, my man. I prefer the music, but Nicki really had just a gigantic, huge impact.
So wait, who did you say? You said Nas?
Nas, LL, Nicki.
Okay, let's talk about Nicki, man. Glasses, go ahead, react.
I mean, you can't really argue Nick, man. That's tough. Queens, when you think about it, because Queens got a lot of motherfuckers. Because Nicki was killing. She was doing some shit. I didn't necessarily prefer the music.
Can't listen
everybody
to
else did, cuz. Everybody else liked it. So, and she could rap. She could flat out rap. She got big rap songs. She impact. She cold. That third slot is rough.
She covers all the bases. She covers all the bases.
But let me ask you a question though. As far as the pen, was that, you know,
is that all her?
Yeah, when she first started. I feel your list because she represented the new era of Queens. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she was crazy. Like, hands down, she tore niggas up. But yeah, I can see that, no doubt.
I don't know. I just think y'all just ain't really giving no credence to this shit. Damn, cuz.
they have to expand the Queens list to a top 5. 3 is
no. If you expand it to 5, then that makes it easier.
Changes everything. Changes everything. Tech, what do you think about Nicki in the third slot? Tech?
You said before that this was based on certain people's criteria. So if you say that a person had a certain amount of commercial impact or influenced other girls to be up there, then sure, you can make that argument. Like I said, look, the who said it before? I don't know if it was Glasses. Somebody said, listen, the first 2 slots is easy. It's really just the third one. And I think for me, I guess it's just in my mind to say, okay, if I say Nicki, then I have to say no to Prodigy or no to Cool G Rap. And that would be the only argument that I would have. But at the same time, if this is based on somebody who's saying, okay, well, let's talk about how many people have broken records or broken this, it's hard because you're talking about 2 different eras of breaking records, right? 2 different ways of getting your music to people. Before, there was no streaming, there was nothing, and people actually bought albums and bought them wholesale and then took them to a record store and purchased them. And nowadays, that's not how people get music. That's not even how it's promoted. You know what I mean? It's not. You don't even own a piece of music. You have a service that streams music for you, and then if you cancel that service, you lose all that music. So it's just a different way of measuring it. I guess if you're a person who is maybe a little bit younger than me, I couldn't disagree with you there if you said that was Nicki Minaj as the third slot, because you're talking about that being impactful to the culture, impactful to more than half of the human population in terms of women that put Queens on the map and that have been there from day one. I said from the very beginning. It's funny you mentioned misogyny. I was the one that mentioned being angry at not putting Roxanne Shante or a foundational woman member.
You're right about that,
Immortal.
I was on your heels on that one.
It's not that I don't like. What I said is the branches to the tree. So if you're gonna go higher on the tree, sure. We don't know what that impact is probably gonna be huge. You're right, Van. In the future, maybe 10, 20 years, people could see her the way that other people see a foundational member of another branch of this that took it to wherever. But again, that involves, I think, Fredro said earlier, jumping eras, right?
You know,
Nick,
I don't know
hold up. You can see Nick's shit right now, though.
And everybody.
You can see a lot of Nick's shit in these bitches. Like, a lot of Nick's shit in these women. You can see Nick in these women fast.
No, yeah. Somebody was saying misogyny? Wasn't you? You was the one saying misogyny.
Come on, guys.
You got a lot of fucking nerve, dude. When you point the finger, there's 3 fingers pointing at you. You got a lot of nerve.